Um, yeah, hi again from me. I'm Theo. I'm doing this talk because I was hoping actually to get some more students here today. Mainly because we need more people in Web3. And I see more people going into traditional Web2, and I just want to say that it's easy to make the switch. It doesn't mean that as soon as you get into Web3, that's it, you're never going into about Web2. Let's just go forward. What we're going to talk about, background, I split it up into sections, so a little bit about me and a little bit about the basics. Why we need professionals, the roles that are out there, why you could start into it. Then a little bit about security in Web3, the skills you want in this field, where you can learn those skills, the communities you can find, career paths, and companies that are looking for people. And then some FAQ and questions if you want to ask anything. And so about me, again, like I didn't want to put, since we're in a university talking and doing this meetup, I didn't want to put up there my work experience. So what you should know about me is I've been to tech like since I was a kid. Went and did a bachelor's in computer science in the UK. Finished that, did a master's degree in cybersecurity because I was interested in cryptography. And then after that, worked for like a year as a system analyst. I had to handle data in traditional Web2, in data that had to do with telecom, mainly Vodafone. And then after that, I still wanted to do cryptography. I still wanted to do security. At the same time, I was investing in BTC since 2017. And the reason I started doing that was because I was like, I want to invest in something. I know I understand tech better. Why don't I do it? And then I got into crypto, but then still didn't understand the technology. And I lost a lot of money, and then decided to look into why I lost that money, and then just go into the technology behind crypto. And so ever since I started the freelance career, like by learning how to develop in Web3, and at the same time started my cybersecurity career in traditional Web2. So I see the difference, and just want to show you how much more interesting Web3 is. So to start off with, again, from the basics, I want to go behind a little bit in history and just say like that Web1 started in the early 90s with just the study websites, the read the web. And that's what it was about. It was just going onto a site that you were interested in, about reading about cars, about this, about that, and you could just find it. And a lot of people just saw the same few websites that were out. Hello. And I'll give you some time to settle down. So yeah, the next one was about Web2. The next one's Web2. Started in the mid-2000s. It was the read and write web. You started having social media and so on. And all of it was centralized, so you couldn't really own anything. Your data was somebody else's, like Google and Meta. And now we just started seeing a rise in the apps being developed in Web3, where it's a read, write, and own. So you own your own assets when you go onto the blockchain web. People started making websites like subscription-based NFT websites, and instead of like paying for a subscription, you just own an NFT. You can go back onto the website again. You can still interact with the website, but you own your data on those websites. And also it's very transparent because you've got smart contracts. You can read everything that's on a blockchain. And if you can read everything that's on the smart contract, then how can somebody scam you like they used to in traditional Web2? So again, very basic definition of what blockchain is. Blockchain is a distributed ledger system that uses cryptography to allow transactions to be communally verified. Hello. There is no need for intermediaries. It's a P2P, it's faster, it's more secure because it's so transparent. All the transactions on a blockchain are public, and yeah, so everybody can read them, everybody can go on there. You don't need banks to make transactions. And that's pretty much it. And obviously it goes a lot deeper, but for now, I mean, to begin with, if you are interested in it, that's what you need to know. So Web2 versus Web3. Something I forgot to mention is some examples, because I keep saying the word blockchain, but what is BTC, what is Ethereum, and so on. There are blockchains. What they do, I'm sorry, it must sound so basic to you. No worries. All right. So what Bitcoin is, what Ethereum is, are like blockchains. Bitcoin came first, Ethereum came second. Ethereum made some advances in terms of its technology. So they introduced smart contracts, which smart contracts are like source code where you can put on top of the blockchain. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but the point is the technology is not new. It's just new to be introduced with blockchain, and that's when Ethereum made the boom. That's kind of one of the reasons, like, we need more professionals in Web3. Again, like, you might discover something that aligns with the blockchain technology so well. You might have not discovered it yourself. It might have been a technology that's been out there for years. But as soon as you put it into this field, then you just made some improvements into the technology. The technology is so new that we need people to do that. So Web2 versus Web3. It's still in its very early stages, but it has shown its potential in like revolutionizing the internet pretty much. Some of its benefits are decentralization, which ensures user security and privacy to a degree, ownership, proof of assets and services, efficiency and interoperability with faster transactions. It is auditable and transparent. Like we said, everything is written on there, so you can pretty much, if you understand how to read the code, you can read, nobody can scam you, let's say. It's owned by users and not companies, and to trust in the blockchain because no code never lies. The opportunities out there. So why do we need professionals? Like I said earlier, crypto is not just for finance first. There's so many devs working in this field now, and they're just rising. One fact that I forgot to say earlier is that just last year alone, there was 30 billion, I think, invested in blockchain by startups alone. And because even big tech companies have realized that more people are investing in this field, then they are recruiting now for professionals in Web3. So because it's so fast-paced, it has such a fast-paced growth, because it's moving so fast, then the talent is very limited. A lot of people are also very skeptical in going into the field. People just think that all the field is just a scam and rug pulls, and therefore we have a talent shortage when if you don't fix it, if we don't have enough developers to fix it, how is it going to get fixed? So you're always going to have the rug pulls and the scams and the hacks. We have hacks due to poorly written smart contracts. Other than the poorly written smart contracts, the languages themselves, like Solidity, for example, have come out with like massive vulnerabilities. Or I remember a big vulnerability that came out on Viber last year. And people were showing it to me because I was a big advocate of using Fiber instead of Solidity. Both of those programming languages are just solely for Web3, by the way. And I was telling people who use Viber is open source, like it can be used for developing smart contracts on blockchains on top of Bitcoin, for example. And then people were like, Viber got hacked last year because of this vulnerability in the libraries of the language itself. And I was like, yeah, but Java got hacked a few years ago with whatever. I don't remember the name of the vulnerability, but Java got hacked a few years ago. It's such an old language. So the more you improve it, the less this is going to happen, let's say. And yeah, we need professionals other than finance people. We need people to develop DeFi, NFTs, DAOs. You've got wallets, you've got the gaming industry, you've got the identity and infrastructure industry, and so on. The roles in demand, these are just some that I pulled off of LinkedIn, I think. So you've got smart contract developers, you've got blockchain security auditors, you've got full stack Web3 developers, you've got product managers, you've got community managers. So you can see that not all of it requires you to know how to code, for example, or design. So you have developer advocates, you have data analysts and more blockchain analysts. And the list is endless. The skills, so why you? Bringing in how you view Web2 will help stabilize and improve Web3, like I said earlier. Everybody has something new to offer because the field is so new itself. And what does a Web3 developer do, for example? You can develop smart contracts, you can develop DApps, you can even be a front-end developer if you want. You can work with blockchains and develop a blockchain or develop a new tool out there. There is actually a tool in Web2 which a company is currently trying to mimic in Web3. It's called the Sneak tool, if you're familiar with it. It's just looking for vulnerabilities in libraries, for example. And people are advertising for positions to try and find something similar to do in Web3. So there is lots and lots of opportunities out there. And so security in Web3, this happened today. I found it just before I came, actually, and just pulled the presentation down to put it out. Yeah, 137 million from Tron were stolen today just from phishing attacks. They were targeting developers. This is from January, again, North Korean APT. North Korean APT, North Korean APT, the same APT, I think, for all of them. This one over here has been the biggest hack in the history of blockchain. As you can see, the FBI was involved, and they released the addresses to try and catch them. If you know how to do blockchain forensics, you could also claim the bounty of the Bybit created a platform where you could claim the bounty from if you actually caught where some funds went, so they were able to freeze them. An APT, by the way, means government-supported hacker group. They just give them some funds to do their initial hacks to gather more funds. And North Korea with the Lazarus group, for example, and this one, DPRK have, it's mainly North Korea targeting the crypto community. They've been doing it for like 3 years now, but more so for the last year and a half. They've been very, very active. Like I say, these are all from this year. That's from March, this from January, this from today, and that's from like March again as well. So just too much happening around the field. Security in Web3 is critical since there's money involved, obviously. You've got these attacks are the main ones out there. So you've got those attacks on blockchains to try and take the chain down. Obviously, that cannot happen, at least forever. Rug pulls, re-entry attacks, and so on. There is more attacks even that are happening right now. I mean, newer and better. Cookies and extensions on browsers stealing keys, stuff like that. They mainly happen, the ones that we see today, or the ones that we see, at least the APTs targeting, happen through the smart contracts though. And so roles in security that you could get into are blockchain security auditor, you could become a blockchain security engineer, blockchain security researcher, blockchain bounty hunter, a protocol engineer, and then people just make up their own roles. So again, the list is endless. So what do you have to do to get into the field? I put the up languages here since it's a tech meetup. So for the languages, I'd say Solidity, JavaScript and TypeScript, Rust and Viper. These are the main ones. As you can see, JavaScript and Rust are not just Web3 languages. However, they're the ones that people look for the most in Web3 today, because there is a lot of smart contracts to be developed on Solana and blockchains that actually use Rust. Web fundamentals, if you want to be a front-end dev, you can do it either in Web2 or Web3. It doesn't stop you from working in Web3, let's say, if you know how to HTML, React, or Node.js. Some of the tools, so what you can do is just go on GitHub and just try and find how to create your own hardware wallet and so on. So you could just download MetaMask and just understand these tools kind of thing, so you can get into the field. How? So you've got a lot of learning resources. I'll keep this up for a bit, talk in the background if you want to save some. I'd say the ones that helped me the most are Binance Academy and Sailor, the Dork Academy. Especially when I was starting out, I didn't know anything about the chain. So these two were the guide for me. On Binance Academy, the courses used to give NFTs. I think now, because of European regulations, they do not anymore in Cyprus. But yeah, you've got a lot of resources to go through. Not traditional university resources, but you do have a lot of places to learn if you want to learn development in Web3, let's say. Some YouTube channels I put here. Again, the last two have to do with development. The first two, not so much. CoinGuru just gives you updates because the field changes so much. You need to have the blockchains that were there 3 years ago, some of them are not today. So you just need to keep up to date with the market as well, not just with what's happening in terms of development. CoffeeZilla just does investigations, mainly Web3, but I think he's done some on Web2. I just think the ones that he did in Web3 are interesting. And you've got other resources here, so if you want to go onto whitepaper.io, the best piece of research I've ever read, and I say this to anyone I talk to about blockchain, best piece of research I've ever read is the Bitcoin white paper. It's only 4 pages long. You don't have it's not just a random project that somebody made on a blockchain that has to convince you it's not a scam and it's like 75 pages long. It's 4 pages long, it's concise, and it's perfect. Wei Dai, this is his portfolio, was the person that a lot of people suspect Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't know, I kind of believe it. He's a cryptographer that originally came up with the idea of, I think he made Bcash, was a coin that was a predecessor to Bitcoin, and he just never developed it fully. But the idea that Satoshi got for Bitcoin came from Wei Dai about a decade earlier. Communities you can learn from. So you've got some job boards up there. Again, huge list. If you just type Web3 jobs on Google, you'll find way more. Forums. a lot of, most projects, let's say in Web3, have an X, a Telegram, and a Discord. But they have also forums on their own websites or their own blockchains. So you could find that through there. You could find out about hackathons that happen in Web3, online hackathons as well, events, virtual communities, an event like this one, for example. And bounty programs, I found it up on Hacktrick, so because my main job is penetration testing, I pretty much just go find vulnerabilities on traditional Web2 websites. And sometimes it has ads. For some reason, I just saw the hacking platform up there, and when I just followed it, it just took me into a bounty program just for Web3 instead of like HackerOne and so on that exist in Web2. So career paths that you could take. There are plenty of pathways from Web2 to Web3 depending on your sector. You could go into marketing, you could go into design, you could go into anything. You could go into project management. Some roles don't require coding, like I said, community writing and product development, I think that was, I don't know why it's just a product there, but yeah. Pick one project to clone and build if you want to start today, and join one community, apply for a hackathon or a bounty, and learn one new Web3 tool this week. Just some little projects you can make for yourself to just get into the field faster. Some of the companies hiring, I saw that a couple of days ago. Binance is hiring again. Since it's almost summer, they're looking for students. All of these companies are like hiring in Europe as well. I went onto job boards and found the ones that hire remotely for Europe. So you could get a job in Binance, you could get a job in Aptos, OpenSea, Kraken, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, so on and so on. I have some blockchains over here that you could work for. Like I said earlier, some blockchains will have their own boards where projects will go and post their project up there and say, I'm looking for a developer because I just got a fund from this blockchain to create my project, and I don't have enough developers to create my project. I offer X amount of money for a dev to come into my project for X amount of months. And so you can find that on their own blockchains. To close up with, do I need an academic background to work in Web3? I have one, but do you need it? No, because like I said, if your goal is to finish uni and goes directly into Web3, it's very difficult because you're not going to learn about Web3 in academia. Academia will teach you about other things, though, which are useful. But you don't need it, no? Do I need to take background to work in Web3? Like I said, there's legal, there's marketing jobs. You don't need to be a techie to work in Web3. And is the Web3 job market stable? It is, because it has been for a while now. If you don't want to do that, I have here, like every job market, it depends on your location and other factors. Web3 offers strong long-term potential though, with many well-founded projects hiring across different sectors. And yeah, like I said earlier, if you feel like you don't like your job in Web3 and you want to switch back, if you've learned Rust, you can still use it in Web2 and you're going to get pretty well paid in either sector. So, thank you. That's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I know you won't.
Are we doing like a networking session afterwards? Where we do questions?
Yeah, we will have time for networking, yes, sure. Okay.
All right, so you can do it later if you want. You can find me around.
I have a question.
Go for it.
For now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were discussing the other day with Antonio the impact of artificial intelligence in many ways, in many sectors, but in ours, regarding coding, regarding testing, regarding many things, optimization. do you think is going to be, or is being the impact now? And it's going to be the impact in 2-3 years? I mean, also.
In terms of Web3 or generally?
In terms of your speech.
Okay.
Also replacing.
I'll actually tell you that in terms of like hiring and stuff, I did my first AI interview. Like, I got interviewed by an AI and blew my mind, like last week. It was about an hour long, and he was asking me questions about the role, and I couldn't close the website, and I couldn't copy and paste in there. So I couldn't just go on my CV and copy paste what it was asking me. It was very serious, but I think I liked it, which is scaring me more, because I think it's replacing a lot of sectors. Like, I wouldn't mind if it replaced HR people in terms of like Web3. I don't mind, but yeah, it's replacing a lot of people. Like, I've seen also, like in Web2, for example, developers that have started coding when AI was around. Like, when I started coding, I had to learn piles of like manuals and so on. But new developers just like go onto AI, put the right prompt in and learn how to code like this. They must be earning way more than I am. And this is kind of like scary. But in terms of how it would change Web3, I guess, it hasn't done much so far. I'd say in terms of business also. Like, I went to a startup meetup in Malta last year, and when the Web3 boom was around, like Web3, this is a company that has Web3 in it and so on, that got replaced by this is a startup that has AI in it and so on. I haven't seen them together though anyway. I haven't seen like AI with Web3 integration startup or anything like that. I don't know how it works. Yeah, from my perspective, I don't think it would do much to Web3. Quantum computing is different though, because that's a big subject too. Quantum computing, I'm scared about how it would affect different blockchains. That's it.
Do you think it will break the cryptography?
No, but definitely mining will be a lot faster. Like farming, mining, everything will be a lot faster. And like when obviously this technology was built with a different goal in mind, that you've got the rewards, X amount of coins will be mined in X amount of time. And from that, I am a little bit skeptical about what's going to happen, but I guess we'll see when time comes.
Mm-hmm. Because I think it was a few months ago, at least there was a lot of things going on in YouTube. People care about cryptography of blockchain and everything being broken.
Yeah, because of quantum computing. I heard a talk from somebody that's done quantum computing in IBM a couple of years ago, I think. And he was actually talking about how it would affect Web3. From what he said, I know everything is very high level, and nobody settled on what exactly is going to happen and how, because we don't know how the technology works. Same with AI, like we don't know its full potential yet. But Web3, we also don't know its full potential. So I'm just saying, you can comment.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Actually, I have one more question. If there are no more questions, you were mentioning some projects. You said go to GitHub and so on. Do you have like an example, a URL where you can share right now? You mentioned, I think, MetaMask and some others, but which one would you recommend if you want to start with this stuff, like having a look at this?
Like all of them, actually, I could give you a list, but I think the best thing to do would be just go watch a video about how to develop a smart contract to begin with. So on Ethereum, it would show you the tools that you need, all of them. It would tell you like you need a MetaMask wallet, you need or whatever wallet you need. Like you have IDEs on Web2, you have IDEs on Web3, and those IDEs, for example, I think somebody came up with an extension you can put on Visual Studio to actually develop smart contracts on Visual Studio code. So you don't need to have